Welcome back. In our previous video, we have created database, and inside database we have created tables, namely employees, departments, and we have also inserted sample data into these tables. In this video, we will be creating web API project. Let's begin. So, to begin with, first we are going to create a blank solution. And to do that, click on Start, search for Visual Studio 2019. And then, since I want to keep this project in a repository, I will clone the existing repository from my Azure Devops account. So I'll click on Clone a repository. Okay. Here in this repository location, we have to provide the location clone URL, so which I'll be providing in a second. At the moment, in my Azure DevOps, the repository is empty. So here I don't have any files and folders, as you can see. So I'll click on clone and I'll copy this URL. And what I have to do is back in my Visual Studio, just paste that URL, and in the path define the location where you want to create where you want to keep this repository. So let me just browse and see. So I want to keep my clone repository in this location, and I want to name it as my project name as repository as, let's say, employee. Let's keep it simple. Employee management portal, EMP hyphen portal. Okay, click on clone. As you can see, it has been cloned successfully. Now let's go and create a blank solution inside this folder. Before that, let's see that whether our folder has got created into the defined location. If I just click here, you can see that under this repository location, we have one folder called employee portal, and it is coming with some default readme and .vs option. Okay, so now we are going to a blank solution inside this location. So let me copy this location. Let's go to our solution Visual Studio. Now right click, click on new project, and here search for blank solutions. Okay, so I'll type blank. So here I can see blank solution. Just click on it, click on next, and just simply paste the location first. And here I am going to say employee portal. I'm giving my solution name as employee portal, and let it create new solution and click on create. Great. So now we have created a blank solution. Now inside this blank solution, we are going to create our API project. Okay, so to do that, let me right click here and say add new project, and we have to select our template. So I'm going to select ASP.NET API template. Let us see how we do that. So here type web API and it will show you a list of templates that are available, and we are interested in .NET framework. So here we have ASP.NET Web Application .NET framework, which is supporting C Sharp. Let's click that and click on next, and you don't need to worry about this location since it is taking the default location of our solution. And here we have to define our API project name. So here I am going to give name as API. Okay, and I'm selecting create, and I'm selecting web API because we are going to build web API. So there are a number of templates available here. You can go with empty template, we can go with web forms, MVC, single page application, but in our case we are going to build web API. So I'll select web API, click on create. Bravo. So now our web API has been created, and you can see that it is coming with its default structure of API, that it contains controller and all other relevant folders and files. Okay, and let me create a solution folder here. I'm creating a solution folder just to segregate between our client application and our API. I'm just creating here one folder called API. This is our solution folder. Okay. Uh, I'll say backend. Okay. So backend, and I'll move this API into this folder. Okay. And I'll create one more solution folder, and I'll name it as front end. Okay. So whatever the logic we are going to do for the front end application, we are going to do inside this front end folder, and whatever logic we are required to do in backend, we'll be doing in the backend folder. So inside our web API, we have a file called web.config. Here we do all the configuration settings that will come later. Then we have controllers. Under controllers, we have some default controllers, home controller, right? And in home controller, we don't have much information. And in values controller, we have some default APIs, endpoints. And if we go to our app start, we have a file called web API config. Okay, just open this file, and here by default there is a default root template which says API slash controller slash, and ID is optional. As you can see, defaults ID is equal to root parameter dot optional, right? So let's try to run our application, and let's try to call one of the method from values controller. Okay, so I'm running the application. Click on iOS Express. It will open the browser. Here it is giving localhost 44303. It is running on this 44303 port number, and you will end up in this page. So it will show you this, but we are more interested in the API section. If you click on API, here it is going to the API page, and here it is showing the default values. However, if we go and check in our um, app start, and if we check the routing, so we are interested in this part, API controller and ID. So we want to browse our value controller, and under this value controller we want to access this get method. So let's go and try to fetch values from this value controller from this get method. Okay, and here what we have to do is we have to type our API slash values. Okay, press enter. So here it is showing us data in XML format. Okay, here you can see value 1, value 2. If we come back and see that it is returning value 1, value 2. Okay, so basically this is an HTTP get action. So that's why here our method name is get. Okay, so if you check here, by default, we have not given any name specifically into the URL. We have only given the controller name here, which is nothing but our endpoint. So by default, it is checking for HTTP GET request and it is grabbing the value from that GET method. And in our case, we are getting value 1 and value 2. In our next video, we will see how to convert this response into a JSON response. Okay, until then, I'll until then, just do this practice and we'll see you in our next video.